Hello. Okay, so this video is going to be on some support for anxiety, basically the stress of being alive. I want to start taking my channel in a slightly different direction. I want it to become, I don't know, a space. I'm just going to share my thoughts, and I want it to become a safe space for other people. If my videos just reach one person who gets a little bit of comfort from it, like, to me, that is the aim. Okay, because I know what it's like living in this life, like I'm in a body too here on this planet, and it can be really hard. And I know the feeling of being surrounded by friends, surrounded by people who love you, family. Maybe you're a mother, maybe you have children, maybe you're running a household, maybe you've got a job, maybe you have a high stress job. You can be surrounded by people all day. You could live in the middle of a city and still feel really alone. And I know that feeling of being alone in your own head and feeling like almost a stranger in your own body, fighting that anxiety and that overwhelming feeling of not feeling at home in your own body as everyone else around you is moving and living their own lives. And I guess I'm going to start with that with this video, because I want to take this channel in a direction where it can be a safe space for people who might be feeling alone, people who might be going through something, others that might struggle with sort of anxiety like I do, panic attacks, health concerns, or just the daily stresses of work, family life, friends, kids. It can all take such a toll on our mental state and our physical state. And I want us to have like a space where we can get those feelings out, because when you're with your partner and they're going through their own mental things, they're stressed from their work that day, they can't often take what we are feeling. And also we might not want to put it on them either, because when you're in your own head, like, no one understands, do they? Like, no one understands the feeling that you're experiencing when you feel alone, and no one can truly put themselves in your shoes because they're not you. And so you end up just not saying anything, or you say it to friends and they're like, oh yeah, and they're like, I dealing with my own stuff and I don't really want to feel like those vibes from you. I'd rather just keep it surface. I'd rather just keep it happy. And the thing is we can't live our life that way, because we're very deep, spiritual, emotional beings. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. I think it's probably even harder if you're a man, because at least with women, society has kind of allowed us to be emotional, which comes with its own, stereotypes and all the rest of it. But at least we're not going to be shunned for like suddenly breaking down, whereas with a man who's holding so much in, I would think it's even harder. I mean, obviously I'm not a man. I'm just kind of guessing, but I'm sure we're all humans. We're all experiencing this crazy, wild ride called life. And if you feel like you get something from my videos, or, this is my first one, I'm just going with this, then please like and subscribe, because I'm not really bothered about following. I'm not really bothered about anything like that. The only reason I'm doing this is because I know how I feel, and I've just been called to share it. I'm a professional artist, and I'm also a psychic, believe it or not, an animal communicator. Don't switch off. Don't think it, we can get into that later. So I am a more spiritual person. I am more aware of my environment, perhaps in a way, than other people are. And I know there's a bunch of you out there the same, the empaths of you out there, the other artists, the other poets, the other writers, the deep thinkers, the feelers, the emotional ones, the ones who walk around with a whole world inside of their body that others can only just scratch the surface of the depths that you have within you. And I know that you're out there, and I know that it comes, I can get passionate now, I know it comes with these feelings that can be so hard to contain within this physical body in this one life. And I suppose I want to put this out there so that we don't feel alone, like in our depth, in our emotions, in our spirituality, like within our physical life, having to go to work, having to pay the bills, having to be a wife, having to be a partner, having to be a best friend, having to be a daughter, a son, a father, like whatever you are, all the roles that you encompass in your life, they're not you. They're just a part of an aspect of you. And I get that there is a whole world inside of you that is none of those things. And that's the side, as well as the other things, but that's the side that you're living with by yourself every day, because only you know what it's like to experience your life in your own body. So I want to bring some light, as I've called my channel, like Love, Light, Laughter, because I want to make this a high vibrational space where we can explore our inner worlds, but at the same time feel positive, feel not alone. And if you have any experiences with, I don't know, anxiety or panic attacks or fearful feelings that you hold inside that you don't project out to the rest of the world, I want you to share them below. And you don't have to say what those fears are or why you're frightened. I would never want anyone to feel like, they have to share something they don't like. Obviously, you don't have to. But if you want to just drop something so that if anyone else sees it, like they don't feel quite so alone, then that would be great. So I've been through a lot in my life. I've been divorced. I've moved from a different country. I live in America, but obviously I'm from Great Britain, England. I have suffered, all sorts of things through my life, like you have too. And I think the best thing that we can do is take each of those events that happen to us. We have good ones, don't we? Have amazing things that happen to us that just come out of the blue and we're like, wow. And then you have some real hard stuff that happens. Divorce was probably the worst. My babies were 3 and 5 when my marriage was not working and I had to leave. And that is just such a horrendous thing to go through. Breaking up a family, when all you've wanted is to have that family. And, I've walked through some dark paths since then, pulled myself up from rock bottom to a life that I actually really love. But these old fears, these old habits, these old patterns, they can creep in and they can be like lurking in the background, And I think what has helped me is bringing positivity to each of the events that have happened, is to see them not as challenges, but as opportunities that have enabled me to grow and become more and more of the woman that I was always meant to be. And to take negative situations in your life and understand that it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And that these things that come in are there to wake us up. They're there to make us jump to the next level. They can cause these anxieties, they can cause these fears. But what you need to do in the face of that is hold the highest reason for these things happening into your mind and try and see them as a vehicle for improving your life. Sometimes it's like a cycle and we have to go down in order to get up, okay? And to get up to the next level. And I feel like life puts these challenges in our way to really help raise us. And I want to be an encouragement. So again, yes, if you're going through anything right now, I think it's great to think of what is the most positive outcome for this situation. The divorce could be awful, but the positive outcome is that you find yourself, you grow yourself, you find aspects of who you are that you never thought existed before. You should hopefully, if you're going to learn the lessons, end up in better relationships in the future, a better relationship with yourself, which then brings better relationships from others. The same with the loss of a job or a health issue? Like, what is this helping you with to get you to the next level? So if you're going through anything and you just want to share it super briefly, just so others can understand that they're not alone in these things called life events that happen to all of us, please do. I really want to talk about, I think, like how our inner state can affect our outer reality, and turning those anxious and fearful thoughts into questions as to why am I feeling like this? What is this trying to show me about myself? Because when we start approaching it from that way, we give ourselves control, which can actually ease the anxiety, and we can create changes. So I'm just going to leave it there for today, and I just want to thank you if you've made it through this. Like, seriously. And if you have any friends that you think that might sort of benefit from this sort of content where I'm sharing stuff so we don't feel quite so alone, then please share it, and just even a like. I don't know, I just want it to reach people. If I help just one person feel better, like, I mean, I think that's an amazing job well done for one day. So thank you so much. Oh, and let me know what you think.